Hey everybody, welcome back to the Drum Mission. We're getting back on track with our week to week. This is a controversial one, guys. I usually don't pick on folks that are in my space, but sometimes there's a guy, I watch him and I don't get it and I want to say it. And I wasn't going to do anything, and then somebody else did this as well. So I'm adding my voice to the chorus. Alright, we're talking about what is it that makes you pro? Is it good time? Is it consistency of hitting? Yes? Yes? But what supersedes all that? Is it chops? Is it polyrhythms? But what supersedes all of that? All of that. In other words, what is the same about him?
Don't stop me now.
Or him? Or him? Or the goat? Or her? And even though I don't like this gentleman's style all that much, he's got it too. Him. But what is this gentleman lacking? Even though he's got some good chops, even though I've learned from him. Now, I put shows together here and I hire drummers occasionally besides myself. I wouldn't hire him. What is it that he's missing? I'm sorry, Mr. 80-20, but that's what this is about. What is it that makes one person pro? Whether they know one beat, or 1,000 beats, or 10 polyrhythms, or no polyrhythms, or have double stroke rolls, or don't. And another, no matter what they know, no matter what chops they have, they just don't have that pro thing. I've got to narrow down to two things, my friend. Let's get right into it. I'm going to take you to the drum lab. One of them is quantifiable, and I can teach it to you. It's about consistency. Hitting. Same place every time. Let me take you to the drum lab. And the second one is not quantifiable, and we're going to talk about that when we get back. All right? Let's take it to the drum lab right now. Hey guys, welcome back to the Drum Laboratory. Okay, so this one's going to be a little bit controversial for me. I usually don't talk about people in this space, but we're going to on this one. Because some things I just can't let go. I'm Sicilian. Alright, so we're talking about what makes people sound pro. Is it time? Is it how hard they hit? Is it who they've played with? A combination of everything? I have broken it down to two things. One, intangible. We're calling that deliberate playing. We're going to talk about that later. And second, consistent playing. What do Vinnie, Ringo Starr, Zach Grooves? So again, the intangible we'll talk about later. By the way, Kenny Aronoff is another one who's recorded for tons of people. And if you compare the chops of Kenny Aronoff, they're not bad, they're okay. Good rock drummer chops. To Vinnie Colaiuta, there's no comparison. Vinnie was playing for Frank Zappa at 19. Even Jeff Porcaro was afraid to play for Frank Zappa. So again, we're going to talk about intangible later, we're going to talk about consistency right now, because this is the one that you can do. So when I'm playing with Tasha Owens, or anybody, especially that first verse. Now, I mentioned this before, if you see my channel, I'm left-handed. I'm going to lead with my left hand, but I tend to play the right hand with the butt end of my stick because of a little weakness I've noticed after the age of 50. Now, some days I do, some days I don't, but my stick height, and I'm hitting dead center. That first and second verse, I'm hitting dead center. I want this camera to catch it. No, so this is traditional grip. I'm kind of flipping the stick down. But let's, you're saying, oh, we don't play traditional grip, Glenn. So here's a non-traditional grip way. Same thing. I'm flipping the stick up, flipping it down. Consistency. And I'm hitting just north of dead center every single time. And I was so happy with myself the other day because Kenny mentions that when he goes in the studio, the thing engineers like about him is he mixes himself. So they set the buttons, and his hits are so consistent. They set the buttons and the dials, and they walk away, and Kenny's going to take care of everything else. He's going to use the dynamics and all that stuff. And I was impressed because I've been doing that for years, and I've had engineers say that to me on a much lower level here, doing my studio work in Michigan. Right, well, let's do that again. Let's do a little bit better tempo. So no matter what volume I'm hitting it, maybe it's a quieter tune. Same volume every time. So for that whole first verse, if that's the volume I'm playing at, that's the volume I'm playing at. It's not going to be here, 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 here. Consistency. How do you get there? We're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it. The next thing is rim shots. A lot of the pros, Kenny uses a rim shot almost every single hit. I don't. Ringo almost never uses rim shots. So I will use them when I need. Bring a song up, give the song a little extra energy, and then like a Tasha show, guitar solos or keyboard solos or last choruses, I will use rim shots. What is a rim shot? I'm hitting the rim of the drum and the head at the same time. So this is a normal rim shot. Now notice I'm not choking the head, I'm bending the stick down so it's up. You can do this too, and not leave the head on the drum. It all depends how I feel at the moment. I'm sorry, not leave the stick on the drum. I'm an idiot sometimes. So watch, here you go. So again, if I'm doing that for the last chorus, they're getting that same rim shot every single time. Every single time. No question. They know I'm going to deliver them good dynamics consistently every time. How do I get there? We'll show you. Let me show you one more rim shot I use. I call it the Choked Rimshot. Back here. Hard to be as consistent with this, but I can do it anyway. So watch. Here we go. When this is too quiet and this is too much, I like this. So here we go. so here is a very mechanical, easy way to get good at that. Get your phone, set the stopwatch or the alarm, 15 minutes. Pick a volume and just play that beat for 15 minutes. Doesn't have to be hard. It could be a Ringo beat. Let me do the Ringo beat that you'll hear mostly on Hard Day's Night, Help, Beatles for Sale. Let's pick that beat. And I'm going to do the same stick height. I'm going to do it for about 12 bars, but when you do it, you set that timer until you're never moving around. Here we go. And you just keep it going. You go slower if you have to. Notice even my hi-hat opening is very consistent, very uniform. So even if all you've got is 3 beats, but they're consistent, you're going to work. You're going to work. People are going to dig it. So then do the same thing with a rim shot. Do the same thing with a rim shot. Do it, and you do it till you're consistent. This is more important than you knowing some polyrhythm 9/7/2. Is that going to hurt you necessarily? No. But is knowing how to play 9/7/2 going to get you a gig? Not at all. Might get you fired. Might get you fired. Now, to be fair, Mr. 80/20, he can do what I just did. I don't think he puts any volume in it, and that's where we're going to get to number 2. All right, let me take you out with a little bit of a groove here, one of my favorite grooves to do. It's not even a Ringo groove, one of my own little funk grooves, and we'll fade right into the most important part of your professional career. See you on the next one. All right, we're back. So what is it then? Is it what I just showed you? Consistent hitting, consistent playing? Yes, in part. Is it having great time? Yes, but I can point to a number of people that are great, that didn't have exceptional time. Stuart Copeland notoriously rushed on stage. Sting would get mad at him, but he is nonetheless great. He is great. Is it being able to play 9/7/22 like Mr. 80/20 drummer says? Will it hurt you to know that? Probably not. Have I worked on some of that stuff because of him? Yes, I have. Will it get you fired? Most likely. So what is it? In a nutshell, in my opinion, it is that feeling that there is no other place you would rather be. There is nothing else you would rather do. You need to be on stage. You need to be playing more than on stage with other people. And let me say this, if your level of commitment to the drums is you just want to get together twice a month in your basement, have a couple of beers, smoke a joint, play a few tunes, and call it a night, Beautiful, man. Everybody live their life the way they want to. But if you want something else, how do you find out if you have that thing that says you've got to be on stage, you've got to play with other people, you've got to make music, you've got to hit those things? How do you do it? Go to the open mics. Go to the jam nights in your area. I'm sure there are some in your town and the town over. I live in Michigan, in Detroit. I host one on Monday nights here, about 35-minute drive for me. You get on stage, and if you are a novice, you tell them, hey, I'm learning. Happens to me all the time with a bass player or something like that. Everybody, most people, not all, are welcoming to that. Oh, be open to the criticism. Hey, you can hit your snare a little harder. Hey, when the singer is pushing a lyric, don't push with her. I'll tell you a quick story. My first day on cruise ships. I'd never played with a 14, 13-piece big band before. And the horns were kicking my ass. What do I mean by that? I was rushing with them, I was dragging with them, I was having a hard time. And I had always considered myself a good timekeeper up to that point. And the music director laid into me. But I knew that's where I wanted to be. I wanted to learn, so I went to work. And every day at 2 o'clock in the morning, I was in the theater, practicing with a metronome, getting it together. And by the end of that 6-month contract, Peter was his name. He said to me, I knew you had it in you. I knew you had the chops. Man, it's so much better. It's night and day from the beginning. I'd be happy to see you on board. Case in point, 2-3 years later, I was the music director and he was working for me on cruise ships. And now in this area, I am known for my timekeeping because I knew I had to do it. This was my thing. I had to do it. And so if you do the open mics and you don't fall in love, you just like it as a hobby, that's fine. But if you do, then what do? You look for your flaws and you attack them. You attack your flaws. You play with other people as often as you can. Put together a band. Join a band. This is my biggest criticism of Mr. 80/20. He admittedly does not gig. And I'm sorry, if you're studying with somebody, you need to be studying with somebody who is out there playing night after night, playing. Because they understand what essentially music is. And I'm going to say this twice. It is communicating with the other musicians and then collectively communicating with the audience. Your job is to communicate with the other musicians and then collectively communicate with the audience. I have up here Sina. What is she doing? I don't have the volume up because of copyright. She's playing with people. They're working with a Toto tune. Man, I'm glad that by the time she's 30, 35, I'll be dead. Because it's going to make me sad to know how great she is by then. More power to her. So I leave you with this, and this is an extreme case. This is a clip you can find on the internet. Now this is extreme. This is Buddy Rich, who is the ultimate of the guy who started playing when he was 2 and knew there was no other place he wanted to be. And when everybody told him big bands were dead, he put together a big band. And then again in the 70s when they said, oh, everybody's doing rock, he did his thing. He did kind of like fusion-y big band stuff. Yep. And then he went back into the old book later. And he continued to do big band. He continued to do big band even though they told him it was over. Stop. Because he knew that's where he had to be. And in this clip, I'm going to show you the last 2 minutes of it. He was having a heart attack while he was playing. He was having a heart attack while he was playing, and he chose to finish the solo. Because he knew, I'd rather die here than anywhere else, behind the set of drums. Because that man was born behind a set of drums. And that kind of commitment Oh man! Oh man! That level of commitment, that's why he was so great. That's why he was so great, because he challenged himself while he was playing all the time. All right. So can you get that? Yeah, you can. Will you? I don't know. But if you want it, you can have it. I've done it for better or for worse. Now it's somewhere in between. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. A little Drummission Philosophy. The it factor. And don't listen to the guys that don't gig. All right, I'll see you on the next one.